anyone reverse weight gain they experienced after 40 like I did? Well, I'm going to take you through my own journey, why and how I gained weight, and watch right until the end, because I'm going to let you know how I reversed all that and remained in shape for 4 years. Hello fam, and welcome to my channel. My name's Melissa Neal, and this channel is all about helping you, if you're a woman over 40 or like me, over 50, get in amazing shape. But did you know, on average, at around the time of menopause and after 40, women gain on average 20 pounds in weight, and that's the average. So some of you it's going to be more than that, some a little bit less. This is a picture of me and what I looked like in my late 40s and in my early 50s, round about 4 years ago now. I actually transformed my body, and I haven't gone back to what I was before. Not only got in shape, I've remained in shape, because I believe what I found is the formula for success, but also something that's sustainable for the rest of your life. So I'm going to talk about why I gained weight. Wow, in my 40s, I actually had my youngest child at age 41, and things were starting to get a little bit different even then, because what I found is that I couldn't get back in shape, and I put that down to just pregnancy and childbirth. But of course, because I was after the age of 40, that was the other reason why. And unlike the children that I previously had, I found it really difficult to get back in shape, and that was because my body was changing. So my hormones were changing, my hormones were starting to deplete, and even before perimenopause, what you can find, you can have depleting hormones, you can have fluctuating hormones, and that makes it really a struggle to lose body fat. Not only that, but I was doing a number of things that just doesn't serve you anymore when you're over 40. So I was drinking alcohol, and your body doesn't respond well to alcohol. And the other problem with alcohol is it tends to make you less disciplined around food, or in other words, eat more food, eat more salty snacks, eat more sugary foods. And that's what I did, and I could get away with that in my younger days. I was naturally quite slim in my younger days, but in my older days, past the age of 40, I just found that I was gaining weight. So what did I do? I decided to put in some cardio, and although I'd done strength training in my younger days, I hadn't connected the strength training with improvement in fat loss and improvement in metabolism. So my first go-to was running, and running really actually worked when I did it in my younger days. But when I did it in my older days, I actually found that I was gaining weight by prioritizing running. I was doing long distance running, and I was actually training for a half marathon, but that also made me hungry, so I ate more. Combining that with drinking alcohol, it just wasn't working anymore. And in my younger days, when I put in running, what I found is I lost body fat, I lost weight really easily. Big mistake I was making is I wasn't prioritizing strength training. So I was making sure I was getting all that running in, but doing really next to no or just a small amount of strength training. And so my body's metabolism had really taken a nosedive. But I didn't give up hope. What I did was start to implement some other strategies, because I wanted to get in the best shape of my life, but I made tons of other mistakes. So as well as too much cardio, I took my calories too low. So I started tracking and got them right down to 1300 calories. But what happened when I did that is, because I was actually starving, what I did was have whole cheat days or whole cheat weekends, and so that undid everything that I did to get in shape. And the other problem was I was doing a ton of activity activity. So even though I'd started to incorporate strength training by then, I was actually doing tons of cardio. And so what that does when you do too much cardio is it's really hard to make progress with muscle building when you incorporate too much cardio. And so I was very, very active and on very low calories. But what I found, although I started to lose weight, and you can see it in the picture here, I was carrying a ton of fat around my midsection that I just couldn't shift because I was incorporating the wrong strategies and I wasn't taking into account the hormonal changes that my body was experiencing. And the other big mistake I made was I did intermittent fasting. And so what happened is I was strength training on an empty stomach, which is a huge no-no, and not eating until 5 hours after training. And that meant that I wasn't fueling my body correctly for performance during my strength training, but also to actually replenish my muscles with the glycogen stores and the protein synthesis that they need to build muscle. Now, I'm a very persistent person, and although I was failing for 2.5 years, I kept going with it because I knew, having looked at some older women like Ernestine Shepherd, she's one of them, that had actually achieved success with their body, I knew there must be something that I was doing wrong. I kept on pursuing my goal of getting in the best shape of my life, and I actually found the formula that worked because I wanted to compete in bodybuilding shows, and I started to learn how to prepare for bodybuilding shows. And of course, it's completely different to how a regular woman might get in shape, and I used many of those techniques that really helped me. So what was the first thing I did? Well, I employed strength training, and I'd already been doing that, but I used a set pattern of training which was doing upper body days and lower body days, splitting them out, and I was ensuring that I was lifting heavy, which I'd actually been advised by a trainer to do high reps and light weights, and that didn't really work at all. And the thing is, you need something called hypertrophy. You need to train to what's called progressive overload, and by doing light weights and high reps, I wasn't able to achieve that. And once I switched my training routine to lifting heavy, that completely changed, and I found that I was actually starting to build muscle, which is what I wanted. Little did I know at the time that actually building muscle is exactly the right thing to do to transform your metabolism. The other thing I did is I actually switched away from intermittent fasting and ate a pre-workout meal or snack before training, even if it was really early in the morning, like 5 in the morning, would consist of carbohydrates and protein and give me performance in the gym. I also made sure I actually fueled my body correctly post-training, and so what I would do is eat within an hour a protein and carbohydrate source, and that was usually a meal, usually breakfast, and that was a massive game changer because at the same time as that, I was actually making sure I took my calories higher, 1700 calories as a minimum. And what I was finding, because I was fueling my body correctly, I was getting in 150 up to 160 grams of protein, I was eating before and after training, my body changed quite quickly, and I could see a transformation in a matter of weeks by employing these techniques, where I was going for months and if not years without seeing proper progress before. So what about cardio exercise? Because before this I was doing tons. Well, I cut right back initially to kind of 15 to 20 minutes of high intensity interval training. And so what was happening is I was prioritizing strength training and keeping cardio to a minimum, and that made a huge difference because it enabled my body to build muscle like it's never built before. Because if you do too much cardio, you're not going to be able to build muscle, especially at around the time of menopause. The other huge thing that I learned through my competition journey was how much mindset plays a part in transforming your body. So it's about believing in yourself, that you're going to have to remain consistent even if you don't feel like training and you don't feel like eating the foods that's going to get you to your goal. You have to remain consistent in order to achieve results, and to do that you need to be in the right mindset. And my mindset changed from somebody that didn't believe in herself to somebody that thought, if I do this right, I have got every opportunity, just like any other woman, to get in amazing shape. And so much so that I actually hired myself a coach to get myself into competition prep and go through my competition journey to get to stage and actually place in the top 3, go on to win trophies in bodybuilding shows, in bikini competitions, which a few years back I wouldn't have had the belief in myself to do that. So mindset is absolutely massive, because as a woman around menopause, you're actually going to really struggle to build muscle. You're really going to struggle to lose weight. And so you've got to have the right mindset to take you through that journey. You're going to find it's going to take you a lot longer than a younger woman would. And if you're wondering how you can put in place all this training, how you can put in place how to eat properly, I run my own online programs all inside my iPhone and Android app. You can download the app today. I'm going to put a link up here to my website. I'm going to put a link in the description, and you can get started today with one of my programs.